You have the other cameras ready with you for the wedding?
Yeah, I got a bag here.
Easy day for you.
Busy day, yes.
There were no good speeches up there, so I thought you were in the front. That's why I went straight there.
No. I'm going to speak to them later at Treasury. All right, man, it's on live.
So are they speaking Treasury?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's catch up, man. Hey, guys, thanks for joining back on the live here. I'm about to hand over to Jerry, who's doing the duties today.
20 past 5 when they were all
I gotta go, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. There you go, Jerry. You're in control now, mate. So just, sorry, ma'am. There's a lot of people. I don't know the exact number yet. Yeah, man, just be mindful. So if you tilt it, keep it lower.
Yeah, once actually people start speaking and standing.
Yeah, just get to the front. So guys, Jerry's gonna do the live coverage from this point onwards. I'm actually all packed. I have responsibilities, so I have to go work at a wedding. So Jerry will continue on today and provide live coverage for you guys. So hopefully it all works. Thanks, Jerry, for doing this.
No worries.
Lots of people tuning to watch, so hopefully the caption speeches and everything goes well. Thanks everyone for watching and all the support.
Talk to you later.
Let's go,
So are we going to walk in the middle? Oh.
Go for it, man. I'll follow you anyway. Hey guys.
We'll go in the middle.
Can't ignore the coffee shops.
It's good. It's going to make a party.
Otherwise, wherever there's no traffic, whatever, man, let me know.
They made it unsafe.
Jerry, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll say bye to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Jerry's going to take over.
No, man, good work, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. Like a group with Mad Max. Like, it's around.
Hi, Jerry!
Hello. Good. Good, brother, good.
John, I was hoping you could expect
Good man. Yes. Hello. Yes, sir. Sorry, no, sorry. Hello. Hello. Hello, how are you? Good man, good, good. brother. Good one, good. Hello. Standing in for Rukshan today.
Ah, nice one.
Now I've got sand and
electric ones.
We'll build you a canoe first, and we'll take you on an magical tour. We'll take you to the promised land.
Yeah, they wouldn't accept the medical exemption.
Because we're in it. We're in our homeland.
Sorry, brother. Go through.
Yeah?
Yes, brother.
Good man, how are you?
Good.
Biggest love to each and every one of you. But it's time that we come together, as we're doing. Keep standing in your power. Keep doing your research. Keep awakening your spirit. Because it's happening. There is satanic warfare taking place on us, which is part of that spiritual stuff. Yeah? There is. Because each time something happens, we start going internal. Into our spirit. We start
I won't be
going
able to come out.
psychologically out of place, mentally out of place. But all that is to do with
Covering for
spirit.
Rukshan. Covering for Rukshan.
If you don't believe me, ask yourself a question. Say your name without speaking out loud. And then ask yourself how you did it. And if you heard it, how you heard it. That'll tell you that your spirit first, having a human experience on the daily. You're not a human who has spiritual experience. Your spirit first.
Yeah, that's right. You can just go on that side.
Because when your spirit shuts down, the rest of your body will go into the ground. but your spirit will remain around. We look up to our spirits, we look up and we pray for our mothers and our fathers. We ask them to give us guidance all the time, protect us, God help me. We do all that sort of stuff. You know why? Because the spirits are around us. They're still here. But it's time that we do ourselves the greatest favour of all. Stop with this heartache and pain, because we're doing it to ourselves. That's what's happening. We're doing it to ourselves. The minute we realise and it clicks and we go bang, that system's not going to be around much longer. Yeah. They want the other speakers on. That's alright. All good. All good. Big love. But it is time that we come together. Yeah? I just want to say, for me and my people, the tribal people of this land, we love you all very much. We're not angry at you. We're not dirty at you. We are here and now. Now you have an opportunity that if you're not proud of the history you come from, now you have an opportunity to create a better one. And for us to work together. Big love to you all. Stay strong and powerful. Yeah, and make sure we look after each other. And in my language we say, "Waruk," means see you later. Not goodbye, see you later.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dizzy. I'm going to be MC today. I'd like to thank Zelenak for that. That was incredible and really hard to follow. I was looking around and I'm like, holy shit, how am I going to get up and speak after Zelenak's speech? And then I seen this sign here that I was carrying the whole time and I realised it's not a competition. Everyone here is united with the same purpose, the same goal in mind. So my ego went out the window and I realised that everyone here isn't judging me, which is good because we're here for pro-choice. We're going to have a lot of speakers on today, so if everyone can be patient, listening quietly, keep the noise to a minimum, and yeah, have a good day. There's water down by the right at the first aid tent. There's toilets up at Parliament if anyone needs to go to the toilet. There's also another one about 5 minutes walk straight down. We're going to kick off the speeches with Jackie Dundee, so put your hands together. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Australians, firstly, I would like to show my respect and honour our forefathers who sacrificed their lives for our freedoms. I also wish to show my respect to our original people. United we stand. Now awake with more waking up. We will not succumb ever again to the divisional tactics that these governments put in place. They are the ones that start all of this rubbish, Christian against Muslim, black against white, race against race, vaccinated against unvaccinated. We are all one and we do not discriminate. We are brothers and sisters. Now, for the sake of our children, I'm sure that's why we are all here, and to ensure that the rest of our lives are also happy and prosperous, but in particular for our children. We are in crisis, people. What is going on behind the scenes is terrifying. So we've got to implement protections for our children to guard and shield them from this kind of thing ever happening again. So we've got atrocities caused by the circumstances created by our government looking after our health. What a bloody joke. Our health is nothing to do with the government. Okay? Both the Commonwealth Commonwealth and state governments have gone well beyond their legislative powers. They are ultra vires. They are rogue and lawless, and enough is enough. This two-party poison has got to end. It's got to go. They are two bodies with one head. They truly are. Good cop, bad cop. They have desecrated this country. Now, it's time for a new system to be implemented. And things are underway, okay? So it's all about we the people and how we want our country run and the future we want for our children. And this is ridiculous. So I will say once again, this has never been about our health. This is all about a totalitarian control of every single aspect of our lives. I sound like a broken record. I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of the Constitution.
I know it did.
The Act of Federation, okay, is when all of the states relinquished their powers and were united as one under the Commonwealth, all equal in the eyes of the law as we are in the eyes of God. Now we have a maxim in law. So maxims are general rules that are applicable, okay? So what is first is truest. And what comes first in time is best in law. Now I'm going to go over the hierarchical pyramid of laws. So at the top, of course, we have the law of God, nature's law, the law of our tribal sovereigns. Now, the law of the spirit and the land are all one. All favour and preserve the common good of the land and humanity. Then we, the people, with the Constitution, sit below the... So the Constitution was put in place to protect us from tyranny. That was its purpose. Now, it is the supreme written law of this land. And no law, whether it be made by Parliament, federal or state, can rise above it. A stream cannot rise above its source. The Australian Constitution provides the basic rules for the government of Australia. It is the fundamental law of Australia, binding everybody, including the Commonwealth Parliament and the Parliament of each state. Even an act passed by Parliament is invalid if it is contrary to the Constitution. Now, Clause 5 is regarding the Act of the Constitution and the laws made by the Parliament of the Commonwealth under the Constitution shall be binding on all courts, judges and the people of every state and of every part of the Commonwealth. That includes you, government. At section 51, we have got the legislative power of the government. So, the government, Parliament, Commonwealth Parliament, capital P, have the power to make laws for the peace, order and good government. Well, that's a bloody joke, isn't it? They failed dismally. Any law made by Parliament is subject to the Constitution. We then have 106, saving of constitutions. The Constitution of each state of the Commonwealth shall subject to the Constitution. They cannot rise above it. They cannot be contrary or inconsistent. Now we've got at section 51.9 is where quarantine is. The Federal Biosecurity Act of 2015 is a Commonwealth Act, okay? So that is basically for our external borders. Because internally, we only have boundaries and limits. This is something we all need to start learning and understanding. We have no internal borders, okay? We have boundaries and limits. The only purpose of these boundaries and limits is because that is showing the geographic location to where each of the states can legislate to. We the people can travel freely everywhere. That's all there is to it. Now, it's also important to note, at these invisible boundary lines, it's a bit like waterways. They say that the government, although it used to be the water companies own a certain amount of land either side of waterways. It is the same with these boundaries. These boundaries are exclusively under the authority or jurisdiction of the Commonwealth. Who do we meet when we get to a border? State officers. They've got no jurisdiction. They have fooled us all with fear. Section 92, was regarding movement. There was a High Court case, Gratwick versus Johnson, in 1945 during the war. Now, this case determined that even in times of war, with bullets flying, our freedom of movement cannot be restricted or prohibited. It can only be regulated. So, for example, speed limits for safety. They cannot prohibit or restrict our movement. Now, we know they're looking at some of the stuff we put into the courts, and it's very interesting that all of a sudden the bloody boundaries are open. We have got at section 109 inconsistency of laws. So this is regarding when a law of the state is inconsistent with a law of the Commonwealth, the latter shall prevail, and the former, to the extent of the inconsistency, is invalid. So this is regarding, so the states, all of the states' public health acts across Australia, which is where the CHOs get their authority, they are inconsistent with the Biosecurity Act. It's a federal act, it's a Commonwealth act. So hence, these health acts need to be rendered invalid. They should never have been put in place in the first place. Our health has nothing to do with the government. You'll also find, as you go through things, so there are certain sections of the Biosecurity Act that also need to be invalidated. At section 478, subsection 1C, it contravenes the prohibition on civil conscription, pursuant to section 5123A. It is basically a bloody circus, and if any of you have tuned in to see what's going on at Parliament, how much do we pay these guys? It's a joke. It's a bloody circus in there. They can stand down. We need a vote of no confidence. It's infuriating. So, 5123A. This is for the provision of maternity allowances. Everything ends in pensions, allowances, endowment, benefits, etc. So as to not authorise civil conscription. That is spelt out in the Constitution. You cannot civilly conscript Australians or force them into any medical service. Yeah, and what have they been doing? Now, Section 5123A strictly prohibits this. You cannot mandate, you cannot force anybody into any kind of medical service, whether that be preventative, being vaccines or masks, or whether that be diagnostic with testing. Now, we had a case, the Attorney General of Victoria versus the Commonwealth. I say all of this so you can look it up, because if you start to look up these cases and see the determinations, you'll just go, well, how the hell can this be happening? So the Attorney General of Victoria versus the Commonwealth, I think it's 1945 High Court of Australia. Now that clearly determined the boundaries, okay? The Commonwealth government has no power to make any laws regarding our health. Their only power is to provide the funding for those services. Child endowment, widows' pensions, okay? Now, the states, they can make laws regarding health, but only regulatory laws that are only applicable to the service providers. They can't regulate us. They can't regulate us. It is totally out of their control. This government needs to be bloody put in their place with what they've done to us, I swear. So, they have absolutely stepped over the boundary. So, what's going on is the Commonwealth have actually provided the states the funding, enabling them to civilly conscript Australians, that which is prohibited and forbidden under the Constitution. The government's worst nightmare is that we all wake up to our Constitution and know our rights. Now, the Commonwealth and the states colluded in this dodgy national cabinet to work out how to deceive the people, how they could push their agenda across. This is my words. So, how to do what the Constitution forbids them to do, to civilly conscript people, how to force them. So what they've done is, through the means of threatening companies and employers with fines in the hundreds of thousands of dollars if they do not enforce mandating their employees to be vaccinated, giving them the choice of loss of employment, and therefore that is no possibility to provide for their families. So you've got, we cannot provide for our family or be a lab rat, and that's what they've done. So people are being forced and coerced into this. There's been no choice. It's been under fear, duress and coercion. There is another case, Marion's case. It is a 1992 case. I'm just going to read you a couple of highlighted bits. In Marion's case, it was determined the law treats as unlawful, both criminally and civilly, conduct which constitutes an assault or on a trespass to the body. That's what's occurring here. The Criminal Code Act of 1983, the direct or indirect application of force to a person without his consent, the attempted or threatened application of such force under section 188 of the code makes an unlawful assault an offence. A person who unlawfully causes grievous harm to another is guilty of a crime. They're all guilty. They are all guilty of this. So, any physical contact or threat is unlawful, and it is the right of each person to choose what they want to do. It's our own bodily integrity. The right in an individual to choose what occurs with respect to his or her own person is exclusively ours privately. The law cannot draw the line between different degrees of violence, and therefore totally prohibits the first and lowest stage of it. Every man's person is sacred. Our personal beings are sacred, okay? And no one else has the right to meddle with it in the slightest manner. Medical treatment of adults with full mental capacity does not come within any of the exemptions mentioned. The factor necessary to render such treatment lawful when it would be otherwise an assault is consent. So if you haven't consented, you can class it as an assault, a trespass on the body. Every human being of adult years and sound mind has a right to determine what should be done with his or her own body. And a surgeon who performs an operation or a doctor who performs an invasive medical procedure such as vaccination without the patient's consent or proceeds under fear and duress and coercion has committed a crime. Now, our government's role is to ensure good governance for prosperity and happiness. I'll repeat it. Our health is none of their business. Now, we have always been perfectly capable of looking after ourselves and our families. If we're sick, we visit our doctor. The doctor-patient relationship
Rukshan.
no third party can intervene or interfere, such as the government or an employer. Our medical records are also
This Rukshan, not me.
strictly
Rukshan.
private and confidential.
Is here. This is him.
They are trying to pass bills at the moment where they're going to have access to our email. It's strictly forbidden. This is our confidential personal information. We are the ones that say what's to be done. So, the government are also trying to pass bills, as I said, allowing them to invade and control every aspect of our lives. We really are in very critical times, and we have all got to wake up as many people as we can. The only time a third party can access your medical records is if they are a medical power of attorney, or if you've been wheeled into the hospital unconscious and the treating doctor contacts your doctor to find out if you've got any underlying issues or what medication you are on before they can begin treatment. And that's a private conversation between them. So these acts, such as the Public Health and Wellbeing Act, Victoria 2008, what they've basically been doing is giving themselves the authority to create situations to disable us, to remove our freedoms, and then blackmail us to be a part of a clinical trial.
That's all right. Stay.
So you could... Oh shit,
all right.
I've only got 2 more minutes, bloody hell, okay. Okay, so I'll make it quick. So we've got... There is no other ground for your medical records to be shared other than those two. Now, the case law regarding the doctor-patient relationship you will find at Breen versus Williams, High Court of Australia, and Wong versus Commonwealth. That's got gold in it. Have a look at that one. So, they are forcing us parents to be double vaccinated, or our children can't attend school or kindergarten. This has got to stop. Everyone needs to take note as well. When this state of emergency ends, the provisional approval for these gene therapy injections is gone, and they cannot use them. That's why they're so desperate to get this through so quickly. This is why we've had a state of emergency in place. They provided no evidence, no transparency. There is no evidence of a pandemic. It's nothing more than a bad flu season. We all know that. It's no worse than that. There is a recovery rate of 99.9% from this. The only people who are possibly going to die from this are our elderly, the vulnerable, those with compromised immune systems. Exactly the same as with flu. So, I want everyone to note as well, if any of you have been coerced into getting a vaccine, if you have made it clear to the doctor that you didn't want to be injected, you're only doing it because you're going to lose your job, that doctor cannot proceed. The doctor-patient relationship was invalidated. And if he did proceed, he's guilty of negligence under the law of torts. Now, if you signed a waiver or an agreement to get the vaccine, that is also invalid, as is any contract in law signed under fear, duress and coercion. Now, everybody in public office has a fiduciary obligation to cause us no harm. Every one of them complicit in this agenda is guilty of malfeasance. It is unconscionable conduct. The corruption, conflict of interest and the deceit of this Australian government corporation, their concealment of information that is imperative for us to make informed decisions relating to the risk factors and debilitating adverse effects caused in this clinical trial is nothing but it's abhorrent and it's inexcusable. These criminals in government have an utter disdain for the Constitution. They purposefully removed it from the curriculum and tried to hide it back in the 70s. They don't want us to know our rights. So, the other thing we need to ask ourselves is, how can the Commonwealth Parliament or the state's parliament be making laws subject to the Constitution if they don't know the bloody Constitution? You will find that every statute, every act, piece of legislation that's been put in place probably over the past 20 to 30 years has been something that is of a detriment to us. We're going to be fined if we don't do this or that. Okay, it's just a further removal of our rights. Inch by inch, they have removed our rights. And now we're here. The Governor-General and the governors of every state, you have failed in your duties. Their primary obligation as representatives of the Queen is to uphold the Constitution. So they should not be giving royal assent to anything. The corruption in this government is astronomical. Scott Morrison has got the ability to stop what is going on in Victoria, and he could have stopped the bill. He has done nothing. We all need to look out as well. Jane Holton. I don't know if you know her name. Jane Holton. She is the key advisor to Scott Morrison. Okay? So, let's see what she's done. She's been involved with all kinds of corporations. She's a member of the board of the ANZ Bank, the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, US Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, da-da-da-da-da. She is also executive and coordinator of the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. She was also with who? Miss Holton has had a number of significant roles in global health governance, including as chair of the board of the World Health Organization, president of the World Health Assembly. So she was chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So, I just want to get this information out to you. We need to see the conflict of interest. It is deep, and when you start digging, it's bloody scary stuff. So her husband is Peter Sutton, Trevor Sutton, Brett Sutton's brother. The conflicts of interest here are astronomical. I'll get through this as quick as I can. So she also happens to have something to do with where the quarantine centre was. I think she owns them. Look, it's just a bloody joke. This woman was involved and actually spoke at that simulation, the COVID-19 simulation in 2019, in New York. And she is the one advising Scott Morrison? Mate of Bill Gates? Interesting stuff. So, we have got to. So, the government's long-term strategy of creating laws and circumstances to enable corruption and tyranny to prevail. The Australian Government Corporation has desecrated this country over decades. In the 50s and 60s, we were a self-sufficient, self-sustaining country. Manufacture and production was strong. Our dollar was the highest in value. Oh, sorry. I've only got one page to go. So, our farmers produced the best of everything, okay? So, the cost of living and wages actually aligned, and only one parent needed to work to comfortably provide for the family. Okay, so allowing the other parent to care and nurture the children as it should be. We had it all. We were the luckiest country in the world. But behind the scenes, the corruption and deceit was well underway, and no one noticed our rights being removed inch by inch. We're busy celebrating Bob Hawke, what a fantastic Prime Minister. He can scull a yard glass of beer. He's over in Washington, D.C., selling us out. He made us a corporation. Look, fast forward now to today. Our land, our resources, our minerals, our water, our oceans, our commonwealth, separate the two words, which belongs to the people, has been stolen by this government corporation and sold to foreign interests. They need to be disqualified. Well, I'm not going to say that, I'm in trouble. So, we have also, there is very sensitive sections of infrastructure. Our titles office. There's foreign interests looking at our titles office. All our titles in their hands. Our bank, our Australian Federal Reserve, is no longer in Australia. It's a Rothschild bank. It's in Rothschild. Our medical, educational and judicial systems are all broken. So, our elderly cannot afford to heat their homes. Our returned servicemen, many suffering PS, post-traumatic stress syndrome, are homeless and committing suicide. They're on the streets, as are many Australians. This is just, when you start to look at this corruption, the two main river systems in the Murray-Darling Basin, were redirected. The government was responsible for all of this. They used it to fill 35 dams built with our taxpayers' dollars, but we couldn't access the water because they'd sold it to foreign interest, okay? So that desecrated millions of hectares of land. I'll see if I can come back later because I've taken too long. Everybody needs to go and subscribe to Parliament. Subscribe to Parliament. Get them to send you out all the bills they are working on, okay? We've got to keep a check on what they're doing. We need researchers to go and start looking at the legislation they put in place in the last 15 years, okay? They plan at least a decade ahead what they're going to do. We the people are the power. Do not forget it. So for the sake of our children and our children's children, we will get this country back.
You know the Rukshan? He's the one for him. He's gone.
Alright everybody, take a round of applause, darling. Thanks, Jackie. It's always good to know our rights. For all the people that have just rocked up, my name's Dizzy. I'm going to be your MC for today. We have a lot of speeches. We're going to try and keep them to 5-minute minimums and move it on. Can I please stress that everybody picks up and takes any rubbish that they see or they have with them. If anybody needs to go to the toilet, there's toilets up at Parliament. There's another separate toilet over here and 1 5-minute walk down there, which I don't know where it is. We still have people rolling in from the march. That's how big this is. That's how huge this movement is. If anyone in the front row turns around, have a look at the amount of like-minded people here that are standing for what we believe in. We are here. We are united. And we will never be defeated. Alright. I got everyone a bit excited. If we can take a seat again, we got speeches. I just let it come over me a little bit. Sorry. But it is good to see. Can we do that after? Yeah. If everyone would like to take a seat again, we have another speaker from the Vic Freedom Keepers, Jen. She's got a few things to say, so if everyone could pay attention because it is important. And if you need food, there's food and water down at the first aid tent. Thank you all for being patient. Alright, here's Jen.
Thanks, Dizzy.
Can we also clear the stage a little bit, please? If everyone can move back a little bit, give the speakers some room. It is intimidating being up here, so if we don't have people swarming them, that'd be very good. Thank you. Here's Jen.
Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, Dizzy. Victoria, go off! Victoria, unstoppable! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! acknowledging and paying respects to our First Nations people. It is always a humble privilege to speak before the people, and this is something that I do not take lightly. Thank you, Millions March. Thank you, Reclaim the Line, that we can all share this platform together today. Victoria, honouring your hearts, each one of you today. Honouring your courage, your resilience, your fight, your peace, your hope. You showing up today, this is love for one another. And we are all here. We are all here because we all know the problems. Yes? We are all here because many of you are here because you want to raise your voices. You want to be accounted for. You want to take a stand. And you want to send a message that we are not okay with any of this. In one way or another, many of us have been impacted by these vaccine mandates. The government overreach who have become a law unto themselves. And this concerns many of us. These vaccine mandates have created a two-tier society. Second-class citizens. We are refused basic human rights, denying us access to some health, medical, education, retail and hospitality services. And the effects that this also has on our businesses, business owners and employers. A person's vaccination status has become a civil rights issue. Such actions are against the very deep notion of individual freedom and autonomy. And there is a deep concern for the generations to come. The longer these mandates continue, the more we are cementing the autonomy of medical choice as an acceptable form of discrimination. So beyond all of this, we have such an opportunity like never before to create our own solutions. And during this time of transition, and I call it a transition because it is only for a moment, during this time of transition, and I call it a slowing down of tyranny. Because during this time, we are doing all the things. We are emailing, we are calling, we are protesting, we are rallying, we are writing, we're doing all the right things. We're speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. And today, each one of us are a representation of that love. But all of this is only for a season. Only for a season. And you know what I love about seasons? Is that nobody has control over it. The beautiful thing about growth is that transition always doesn't stay that way. Things don't always stay this way. And so we won't need to rally this way for very long. We won't need to march this way for very long. And it's not because evil is abolished, not yet. No way. But because we are here as a bridge for each other. Connection. We're planting seeds. We're sharing the good news of liberation. We are supporting, we are guiding, we hope, we be the light, we sound the alarm, and we build up, and then we exit. And this is reformation. Reformation calls for a new strategy, for supernatural solutions, because if you didn't already know, we are in a spiritual warfare. And we need spiritual weapons. We're living out the spirit of the law is key, because the letter of the law, as Jackie just shared with us, no longer provides adequate protections of our liberties or safety. Taking a stand requires doing things differently. And it may feel foreign and yet innately aligned that we no longer choose to live or operate in their systems. You better believe it. And so from here, let's focus. Let's focus on getting organized. Let's focus on information that moves you to act. Let's focus on co-creation, co-regulation. Come together. Get together in small local groups. Begin to create your own food co-ops. Create alternative education pathways. Grow your own food, your own gardens. Medical professionals, get creative. Circulate in our own economy, our resources. You truly commit to something with the help of one another, we can pull this off. It is going to take massive action, but we can do it together. Can you imagine? Scattered all over Victoria, all over Australia, all over the world, safe freedom spaces. People perish. Look up! Look up! See who and what is around you. Look up!
Spread awareness, baby.
See who and what is around you. Bring your resources, your skills to the table of community. Community where we care and we comfort and we grieve together and we mourn together and we rise up together. Behind me here is the Victoria Freedom Keepers team. And I can see some of you out there too. They should be up here. This is your family. This is your extended family. When you see, every time you see a Freedom Keepers yellow t-shirt, know that we see you. Know that we feel you. And know that we are here for you.
Yes.
You are safe.
Yes.
All over Victoria and all over Australia, all over the world, this grassroots movement, we are building intentional communities of support and practice and action. They are on the front lines daily, in the trenches, doing community, because it's how you show up on the daily. And this is the time. The time is done for holding on to what you have built up for your own social security, for your own bank accounts. Your family is our family. Your children are our children.
Good, you?
The time of being selfish, trying to fight to hold on to what you have and go back. Back to what? To the old ways of being dependent on a system that is designed to enslave you.
Not getting banned?
It's all an illusion.
I'm doing Rukshan today.
So this is the rally cry. This is the rally cry at the front lines of truth and justice. What has happened here and still happening here in Victoria is injustice. We are defending the freedom to choose, to feel, to think, to believe, to speak, to act, to believe on our own choosing against a direct attack on our liberty of conscience. So today we rise up and we get ready because change is coming. We prepare, we prepare, we prepare, we get ready. And we move forward with new strategy. We move forward with new vision, with new reference points of trust. And we anchor deeper in truth, and faith that is steadfast, immovable, unbreakable. Seek the signal, pray for each other, show love to one another, forgive one another, build community in rural areas. She's alright, she's alright. She's alright.
Alright.
She's alright. She's alright.
Hello.
She's alright.
Good, good.
She's alright.
Hot,
She's
hot for you guys?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but there's only one person with a mic. So can you please just sit down and listen? People have been designated to speak for a reason. I'm sorry, love, but you are not one of them. We are not controlling anyone. Well, I'm listening to your opinion. Because you're being aggressive, love. I'm sorry, but this is a protest for the people. We are here to listen to Sue. So is everyone here that you're distracting. I'm sorry. If you take a seat and just listen, everything will be fine. Alright. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put you back on to Jen.
Freedom keepers! Freedom keepers!
Good brother.
Oh wow, you get a lot of views.
Yeah, this is Rukshan. This is real Rukshan. Yeah, it's gone. It's not real.
I got the mic. I got the mic. I got the mic. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She's okay. She's okay. She's okay. We'll just go over here. We'll just go over here. Love and peace, guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
We pray and we forgive one another. We build our communities in rural areas, and it is an act of safety, country living. Let's build community in rural areas. It is an act of safety, country living. Never stop meeting up. Never stop meeting up.
That'll be on my phone.
Hey, go,
And this is how we begin to break down the barriers and build longer tables, family. Yes, you are all welcome. There is plenty of room for everyone. You are all welcome. There is plenty of room for everyone. And we journey forward together. So much love, so much peace and blessings be unto you all. Yes. Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Victoria unstoppable. Thank you.
All right. There's still people turning up. Oh my God, someone just found my iPad. That's amazing. Can I first ask everybody that's up near the stage area, if you haven't got actual cameras and media, you're just running off a phone, can we please move back, clear a little bit of room? That would be muchly appreciated. We have the banners at the back here for a reason. If everybody can clear from the banners, that would be amazing. Thank you. All right. Now, if we can try and forget that past discretion that just happened.
Thank you, brother.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Some just shouldn't scream it above people who are trying to talk. That's rude. I don't really like rude people, to be honest. If she had asked for a turn on the microphone, I probably would have given her a turn on the microphone. But you don't just start yelling and screaming at people. That's what Dan does. Dan's a dick. So fuck Dan. Just a quick reminder for everybody to please take their rubbish. Let's leave this area the same way we walked in. There's still people walking in, which is amazing. We are no longer the minority. And the next speaker that we have on is a doctor who is going to give his first-hand opinion as a doctor. He'd rather not be named, but his opinion is crucial. So if we could all please keep doing what you're doing, because you're fucking amazing. All right, here it is.
G'day everyone. I'm a young doctor. I was born in Adelaide. I've been practicing as a doctor for 3 years.
Sorry, mate.
The last 2 of which... Sorry, I'm not used to this. I've been practicing as a doctor for only 3 years. The last 2 of which were in a unit responsible for the care of patients infected with COVID-19, amongst obviously many other things. This year as a medical registrar, and this is all in a hospital here in Melbourne. It also happens that I've completed a Masters of International Public Health, something that spends a great deal of focus on pandemics and the control of them. Nothing I'm expressing here represents anything in any way, position or opinion of anyone or organisation that I'm affiliated with. I must first apologise. I have not worked for a month now. I am deeply sorry to the people that I serve and my colleagues. I find myself unable to further suffer the moral injuries that occurred due to the decisions of our so-called representatives. They add insult to injury when they label us ugly extremists. They say we are a distraction from them granting some of us freedoms that they took away. But I'm not here to talk about doctors. I'm here to talk about the plight of our angels. I'd like to tell you a story. Nothing more, nothing less, just a story. This single story doesn't paint the whole picture, just some of it. It was months ago now. I was printing the lists for the morning handover after a long and busy night shift. In the cramped office space was a phenomenal nurse that I know. As she cried through her fingers as they clutched at her face, she said to me, "Please do something." We cried together in our PPE at 1.5 metres distance. She said to me that if the government even just acknowledged what they had been through, what they were going through, what they are going through, then she would work. Let alone the insult of taking away her human rights. This nurse is an angel, as many I know are. She volunteered for the COVID ward at the very beginning, when it was indescribably scary, when we had no idea what we were about to go through, when all we saw were swarms of hazmat suits on TV. "I'm calling in sick," she said. "I can't do this, not for this government." There is one more thing I'd like to talk about, and that is hope. I am hopeful. Last week, I was speaking to a vaccinated protester about the Great Resignation. He said, "It's more like the Great Reflection. People are waking up to what is important in life. People are recognising their own mortality. People are following the values that we all share. Truth, justice, love." The tide is changing. I'll finish with a quote from an author, Umberto Eco. "Such is the power of truth that, like good, it is its own propagator."
All right. I'm not going to say his name, so we can't really thank him. But that one, to be honest, actually gripped me more than I expected. It's
He's not here.
It's something.
This is his camera.
Ooh, hang on, getting teary.
He's gone for a wedding.
Ah,
Yeah.
So basically, what he's saying and what I'm fully against is people shouldn't be forced into doing anything. Who has the right to force anyone to do anything? Our government is bullying us. And I do not stand for bullying. I call straight out, I'd call any of them out. I reckon it's ridiculous that anyone should be forced to do anything to put their family aside and get something that they don't need, that they don't want to keep their job. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I just had to have a rant there. Up next, we have Annette from Reclaim Nurses. Is that correct? Hello. All right, I'm going to pass the mic over.
Hello. My name's Annette. I've been a registered nurse for 30 years. And 40 years. So I represent Reclaim the Line, and I represent all the nurses. I represent all the teachers. And I represent all the emergency services. So any nurses that want to come up and stand here with us, if you're able, come out. Stand with us. So in the 30 years, I've seen much change. In that time, some good, some not so good. But in the last few years, I've seen evil. Evil. I'm ashamed to have been part of such an evil system. Now I am awake. I have a voice. We have a voice. And we will be heard. No more. No more shame, no more guilt, no more subservience to a corrupt corporate system that violates our human rights. Violates our human rights of every man, woman and child in Australia, regardless of where you come from, what colour you are, what you identify as. Enough is enough. As nurses, we take an oath when we graduate to practice our profession faithfully. We do not administer any harmful drug. We protect the privacy of the patient, the patient's medical information. We are dedicated and devoted to the service of quality of life of every human being. There is a sacred bind between the patient and the health professional. All of this has been violated. We have lost our way to a corrupt health system that favours budgets over patient care. Money comes first. And COVID is big money. Big Pharma is big money, and and big control. The health system is the sick system. It keeps you sick. We've had our rights and our choices taken away from us. The Australian Immunisation Handbook clearly states that you cannot coerce a person. I'm getting all dry, I can't talk properly. I'm very nervous too, as you can see, because I'm jittering around. I'm only human too. I have feelings. So the handbook says not to coerce anyone into taking a vaccine, and yet this is happening. Stop tearing our people apart. Stop tearing our communities apart. We choose not to be coerced. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We say no! We say no! We say no! Goma, Nika, no! This has gone too far. You've destroyed lives. You've destroyed families. You've destroyed our health. Our health system is sick and broken. Many doctors and nurses, health professionals can see it, and they know the truth. They know the truth about what is happening, but are too scared to speak up. I'm not too scared. I've lost my job now. I don't care. The only thing I care about is you! We have been silenced, but no more. We say speak up, tell the truth. Do not fear APRA. Do not fear the government. We outnumber them. We are a majority. We are not a minority. We are a majority. We say no. We have a voice. We can speak up. This is not about health. The government overreach has gone too far. This is genocide. We believe in freedom of choice. We believe in freedom. 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 A system that violates the human rights of every man, woman and child in Australia. Enough is enough. No more. No more. No more gags from APRA. No more gagging nurses. No more gagging doctors. Speak up. Speak up. Tell the truth. Tell it like it is. Tell everyone what's happening. Tell everyone what's happening. Enough is enough. All right. Sackden Andrews. Sackden Andrews.
Fiona Powder.
Suck Dan Andrews! Suck in! Suck Dan Andrews! Suck Dan Andrews! Oh, arrest him, yeah, let's arrest him. Arrest Dan Andrews! Arrest Dan Andrews! Arrest Dan Andrews! Thank you!
Alright everyone, another big round of applause. That was incredible. To reclaim the line. Speaking of the line, can we ask everybody just to move back a little bit so we can see the banners again and stay behind this line here. We've got a few more speakers and then we have some entertainment, we have some singers, so on and so forth. So I'm going to try and keep it short, just remind you the normal things, pick up your rubbish, so on and so forth. Next we have David from Winning Victoria back, who's got a few things to say. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Nice to see such a small crowd. At least a couple of hundred, at least. It's an ongoing joke, obviously. This is not so jovial though. How many of you here, because you have felt a little bit of pain, the pain of change, shedding, you might say. Shedding of the old, rebirth into the new. I've seen a little bit of change happening here. Have you heard the nurses speaking? Seemed like she was after a little bit of change. What do you think? Many of you have brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, children that are in pain. As Ed Gilbert says, we all have an interest in security. Security to end that pain. And we, the unvaxxed, the unmasked, the unsocially distanced, otherwise known as the uns, feel like we have lost a little bit of that security. But is that a perception that can be changed? I turn to Justice Robert Beach-Jones. Now this is the justice that adjudicated in the matter of the AFL lawyers in New South Wales. In his decision in Chasm versus Hazard, I quote, see if you can follow me on this one. A person's right to bodily integrity is not violated just because a person agrees to be vaccinated to avoid a general prohibition on movement. Do we agree with Mr. Beach-Jones? Sorry, I could you hear what they just said?
No.
Do you agree with what Justice Beach-Jones says? Right, sorry, I got you that time. Now, my good friend Tony Pecora, he can't be here today, famously arrested for visiting his MP Josh Burns. Well, famous to me anyway. He attests that Beach-Jones might be right. And that if he is right, the uns, amongst us, must set up a parallel society. Who here wants to set up a parallel society? It's a bit lukewarm, it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? Some of us do, some of us don't. So the question I have for Tony and those of you who want to set up a parallel system is, how much pain are you willing to endure in doing so? I must confess, I don't believe Beach-Jones is right, and I think that he's going to be proven wrong in the High Court. Anybody care if he's proven wrong in the High Court? Freemasons, I hear. That's the Freemasons, all right. There is still much pain to tolerate, and a warning on seeking to end that pain too early. Neil Strauss, American author, he aptly says, people go through so much pain trying to avoid pain. And as Oprah says, and I know all of you would love Oprah, who doesn't love Oprah? Come on. She said, turn your wounds into wisdom. Hey, even Oprah can say some wise things. So, alright, I'm being heckled already. So how to do this, to turn pain into a new vision? From the turnout here today, whether you see it or not, it's happening right in front of our eyes. Because we are the new power. No, I know, I want to hear that again. We are the new power. Are we the new power? Yes. Thank you. We are ascending. That's what this is all about, right? Ascension. I've reflected over the last few years and the knowledge that in the 1970s and again in 2000, Melbourne had large protests and in fact all around the country. 2003 against invasion of Iraq. Some estimate 500,000 people. But the protest affected no change. That is, the invasion still happened. Against the will of the people. It is contrary to the idea that politics runs downstream of culture. The Australian government did not listen. So the question is, are we any better place today? Now let's just hold on. The world has never known a global uprising as we have it today. An ascension. When Rosa Parks refused to speech delivered by Martin Luther King was not until 1963, almost 7 years later. And then we had the Civil Rights Act was enacted, voting rights, 1965. So politics runs downstream of culture, right? Perhaps the medium of this flow is thick and oozy and slow sometimes. In Australia too, our own constitution provides some historical foundation to what we might say is overt racism. Where's BLM? At least segregation at the minimum. Section 127, probably not many of you here would know about. Counted. Does that sound familiar? Shall not be counted. Segregated, divided. Sound familiar? This meant that Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders, they weren't recognised as part of the Australian population. The states enacted Aboriginal Protection Act, which gave them the right to remove children from their families. So in some cases, the ooze of the stream between politics and culture does not seem to run at all. Section 127 of our Constitution was the subject of a referendum in 1967. So it only took 60 odd years for the politics to ooze downstream from our culture. We had the Warburton Ranges controversy in 1957, the Yirrkala Bark petitions in 1963, 1965 Freedom Ride. All of these were considered the tinder that started the fire, resulting in the referendum that removed Section 127 in the Constitution. Something about what we're doing here today, starting a fire. I shouldn't say that too loudly. They might get me on arson charges. Turn it up. Full voting rights, however, were not granted federally until 1984, right? So it took a while. I want to know, are all you people in this for the long haul? Fully sick, I see. I want to know, sorry, I didn't hear you. Are you in this for the long haul? I tell you what, we've got some things coming. We've got some things coming, another strain. Who knows whether this is our last legal protest for a while. So I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly here. Pain and resilience is what I've been talking about here. And that's why we're here today, because the ascension continues. We make strides every day. The media is slowly recognising our legitimacy, not that we need it. The MPs that make up Parliament will either hear our calls or slowly be replaced with people who do. The High Court is beginning to understand that we, the people, have arrived. We, the people, have our rights. We, the people, demand justice. We demand justice, don't we? We're not just here spinning our wheels, are we? We demand justice, don't we? We cannot falter. We cannot stop. There are hard roads ahead. Our nation, much like other Western liberal democracies, is founded on principles. Some may argue that constitutions are set up to enshrine rights and freedoms. I do not believe this is so, personally. They are, however, made on the basis that people as subjects are under God, free to make decisions in our own lives. The various acts of Parliament being set up to further protect these rights in line with the principle of doing no harm unto another. I'm not religious either, but I believe this. We do not do harm to another. When, however, the laws become tyrannical, it has been said that, I'm just looking for a t-shirt around here that says it, rebellion becomes mandatory. Put another way, when the laws and edicts of authority, I'm in the last paragraph. Put another way, when the laws and edicts of authority and power no longer reflect the very protections that the foundations of the authority were set up to protect in the first instance, in the seminal matter of Marbury versus Madison in the States, are you to close your eyes to the violation? If we do, and those in positions of privilege do, then we close our eyes on the foundations of liberalism and democracy. And in the words of the Manic Street Preachers, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Thank you.
All right, everyone, just a quick update. We do have two more speeches quickly. They are going to be a bit shorter. I'm trying to keep everybody intrigued and keep everybody here because we do have live performances, music and all the fun stuff after the speeches. So if you please be patient and just stick with us for a little bit longer. I'm going to introduce Derek. He's got a really quick speech, he says. And then we're going to go to a serviceman who's going to be worth listening to. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, Victoria. Hello, Australia. I've got 60 seconds, and this is going to be going everywhere. Hello, Victoria. Do you want a remedy? I want to thank Selenak. That's a very hard act to follow. Thank you, Selenak. I want to say thank you to you, Kamanga. I probably haven't got the name correct. My apologies. And I want to say thank you to Dizzy. I've got 60 seconds. I want you to write this down. This is your right to not be arrested anymore. www.jesusislord.melbourne. I want to say thank you to the Shaw family and to Ben. And I want him to know that we are going to get that book of paperwork, the criminal charges pending against Daniel Andrews. Can we do better than that for the recordings? We've got the criminal charges in the public domain for Daniel Andrews on the 17th. Do you want to send a message to Ben to tell his father, Brian Shaw, we need him next Saturday on this platform? Can we say, Brian, 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 Brian. I'm getting the wind up from DC already. Please, I want to know, this is our banner. I'm taking people to court and we're cancelling their arrest fines and their warrants and their taxes, and we are helping people like this courageous woman here